For the last few years, X Global has been called everything from bitter to jealous to obsessed. Every few weeks, it seems he jumps on Twitter and says something about A-Reece, and the entire timeline reacts exactly the same way. Your obsession with Reece needs to be studied at Harvard. Damn, this nigga can't live without Reece. What kind of obsession is this now? Bro, your Twitter is boring without mentioning the boy. It's like that is where your relevance lies now. X Global has more tweets about A-Reece than hits. On the last tweet, I would have to somewhat agree, since X doesn't do himself any favors by not just shutting up and focusing on the music. Earlier this year, in regards to X Global, even Noto would say,
"Those guys aren't talented, man. You can't even name one song from X Global that you think, oh my goodness, a wonderful song, or this is nostalgic, or this is something that reminds me of anything significant in my life. Come on, man. No, man."
That's become the accepted story. X is just bitter because TWC has broken up, and that's why he keeps ranting about A-Reece, because that's how he stays relevant. But what if we've been looking at this completely wrong? What if the question isn't why X Global keeps talking, but why he's been saying the same things for years and almost nobody, especially the slimes, has stopped to ask whether any of it might actually be true? I made a deep dive a while back, breaking down the entire collapse of the Wrecking Crew. But while digging through the interviews, old tweets, podcasts, and some articles, I kept noticing something that completely changed how I viewed the situation. The deeper I looked, the more it seemed like X Global, to his credit, was doing far more behind the scenes than most people ever gave him credit for. Earlier this month, a TWC fan tagged A-Reece, Echo, Words, and X Global, asking for the fan-favorite Long Lost Letters EP to be restored to streaming services. This is why I hate technology. Y'all beefed, and somehow I lost access to Long Lost Letters. If I owned a physical copy, your friendship status wouldn't concern me. Now I'm on YouTube like an archaeologist, digging for my favorite songs. X would actually reply to the fan saying, "I re-uploaded it, and it was taken down again. I genuinely tried. Count me out, gang." The problem is the guy who put himself and his girl on the art cover of a group assignment that never involved his girl. I suspect him, gang. As a side note, this is one of the biggest downsides of the streaming era. We don't actually own the music anymore. We're paying for the right to access it, and that access can disappear overnight if an artist or label decides to remove a project. In the CD era, once you bought an album, it was yours forever. Today, an entire body of work can vanish with a click of a button. He would then go further saying, "Reece did me wrong, and to this day, I haven't seen my Reece Effect royalties, nor my royalties from I'm Only 21 on Karma, among other things, after I helped him when his own brother kicked him out and he had nowhere to go, and got money to fund his crew. We were already 6 in the house, then he brought 1000 Degrees to live with us. I got music video money for Tell Me What You Want, 420 on my own, to name a few. Also papers to provide a roof for his crew and him. A studio to record all those albums, EPs, and mixtapes that you all love." What's interesting is that this wasn't a new allegation. It was consistent with what X Global had been saying for years. Whether you believe him or not, his story has remained remarkably consistent. And these were the very same claims he would echo during his infamous appearance on the Zinger podcast.
And those numbers, bear in mind that the highest the highest song on those streams is 200K. And if you look at my iTunes right now, all the songs with the boy are way bigger. So it means if I was registered and if they had done right on their end, what you saw there as a number as plays would have been way up to gang millions.
Oh yeah. He would have had more than that.
What?
It would have counted.
Yes, all my features are not there. All my features are not there. It's just literally me, bro. Yeah, bro. So even right now, I can't walk into offices right now because he still can't fix that. I can't say, "Hey guys, these are my numbers. Can I get this deal and do this?" Because I'm still going through this.
You gotta grind.
At the heart of X Global's frustration is one core argument. He believes A-Reece has deliberately gone out of his way to spite him. That rather than allowing former collaborators to benefit from projects they helped create, he'd rather remove them altogether. Whether that's true or not is another conversation, but it's a claim X has consistently made for years. So I decided to look into it myself. One of X's biggest grievances revolves around Reece Effect. an album he says he played a significant role in creating. Remember, this was during the rubber band gang era after A-Reece, Mash, Words, and X Global had split from the rest of the Wrecking Crew. I pulled up Strange Habits, which, by the way, is still one of my favorite songs of the project.
Strange Habits was fire, nigga. That's a fact, nigga.
And started digging through the credits on Spotify. That's when I noticed something interesting. X Global is credited as a performing artist, but the profile linked to his name isn't his official Spotify page. Instead, it redirects to what appears to be an automatically generated artist profile with virtually no presence. Words, on the other hand, is linked to his verified artist page, meaning the streams and visibility from the album contribute to his profile. X Global doesn't appear to receive that same benefit. Now, does that automatically mean A-Reece is responsible? No. Spotify artist mapping errors happen more often than people realize, especially when metadata isn't submitted correctly. But if the credits have remained like this for years, you can at least understand why X feels frustrated. I decided to dig a little deeper. I checked Muser.ai, a database that tracks songwriting and production credits across the music industry. It's kind of like a IMDb, but for music. On Strange Habits, X Global receives a performer credit, but I couldn't find him listed among the songwriting credits. When it comes to royalties though, that's where the trail goes cold. Unless you're directly involved in the publishing or an active Samro member with access to his royalty portal, there's no public way to verify whether X is receiving payments or not. So while I can investigate the publicly available credits, I can't independently confirm or deny his claims about unpaid royalties. Another major point of contention is X Global's claim that he housed and financially supported the Wrecking Crew. At first glance, it seems like a bold statement, but once you dig into X's background, it becomes much easier to understand why he says it. Long before TWC as we know it existed, X wasn't just another aspiring rapper trying to make it. He came from a business-minded family. His own brother was a lawyer who owned his own law firm. And he had already built a name for himself in entertainment. As a dancer, he was part of Perplexed, a crew that represented South Africa at an international dance competition in Las Vegas. X even featured on season 2 of Running with the Reps, a reality television series which aired on Mzansi Magic in 2013. 2 years later, X appeared on Big Brother Mzansi. Although his time at the house lasted just 7 days, he walked away with 100,000 rand. By this point, he'd already built industry relationships, gained television exposure, and had access to opportunities that many young artists simply didn't have. It's worth remembering where everyone else was at this time. While X was traveling internationally and appearing on local television, artists like A-Reece and Flame were still in high school trying to find their footing in the music industry. They simply weren't operating from the same starting point. After Big Brother, X shifted his focus to music, recording alongside Shelton Forbes while working closely with producer Zuchi Coke Dope.
Well, it came about with everybody that I went into the studio with telling me that you're really good at what you do, especially my producer Zuchi. So I just took that, and now I got a team behind me, family behind me to put in money in this whole thing so I can be able to shoot music videos and further this whole thing instead of just trying it out and actually doing it for real as my career. So yeah, that's where I actually saw it and I took it seriously.
So how did you get your parents to accept that you're not
They
going to
never
be
did.
How do you get your parents to accept that you're not going to be an attorney?
Well, they never accepted it for quite a while until they saw me on one reality show, and then they saw me on the second reality show, and then they saw my first music video, my second music video. Then they started seeing me performing all over and how people responded, and then they accepted it. But it took a while. I had to fight for it. No parents would actually accept that because my brother is an attorney and he owns a law practice. So
you expected
I was expected to be.
It was during this period that he reached out to Benchmark for collaboration. That meeting eventually led him to Melville, where he linked up with A-Reece and the rest of the crew, becoming one of the final pieces of what would become the Wrecking Crew. From everything that's publicly available, it seems X brought more than just verses to the table. He had connections, he had experience navigating the entertainment industry, and perhaps more importantly, he had resources.
But you know how that whole thing started. It's a crazy story. So Benchmark right? TK and Jody, they were living. We stay at their apartment in Melville, and you know they big homies. You know they like, yo, let's do this thing. Let's move together as a unit. Let's brand ourselves on that level, but we need more people. We need to add more niggas on this thing. We need niggas that are gonna help on other situations, you know, in terms of radio, videos and stuff. So he's like, I got this nigga, or let me just try to say this nigga's ex-Lobo. Let's come together with this nigga. Let's use our resources. We share resources, what we have and what they have, and we come together and we accrue.
That lines up with what we've already seen throughout the TWC story. When the crew needed somewhere to stay, X opened up his apartment. When they were bouncing between hotels and Airbnbs, he was one of the people helping keep everything afloat. Even George Lebese first heard about the crew's housing struggles through one of X's friends before offering them a place to stay in Honeydew.
Yeah, for sure. So now they tell me, yo, my nigga, we ain't got no spot to go, and out there, them niggas are not feeling it. Cause don't forget, it was Flame, Mash, Chris, The Boy, Jody, and TK in one house.
Okay,
in one apartment. So I think they had problems with all of that setup there.
Making it work out.
That didn't work out via how it was set up. So cool. They come to me, they tell me about it. We got no spot to go. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm in a 3-bedroom right now. It has no beds. No, there was one bed and shit.
Yeah.
Niggas can buy beds and all that, and then niggas can live out here. So cool. That's how it happened.
So who's hitting you up, saying, yo?
Oh no, it was the boy himself. The boy and the niggas. Yeah.
It was like, yo, we trying to slide through.
Yeah, they're like, yo, my nigga, shit's not working out there. We ain't got a spot to go, so
Are you niggas already TWC?
Yeah, and we're already tired at that time. So when they told me about this, I was like, okay, cool, I got a spot, and I'm living alone right now. I just got Echo and Melo, but Echo goes home whenever he wants, Melo goes home whenever he wants.
Yeah.
So most of the time I'd be there alone or with them.
Another claim X Global has made over the years is that he played a key role in securing high-quality music videos for the Wrecking Crew, directed by acclaimed filmmaker Kyle White. According to X, the opportunity originally came through him, but instead of using both videos for his own music, he chose to give them to A-Reece and Flame, whose songs had the most momentum at the time.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of music videos with Kyle White, right? So now, after that, Kyle White was like, yo, homie, I'm gonna give you a package of like 10, 15 music videos that you can shoot for a discount.
Okay.
So I'm like, what? Crazy.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So if you look, now here's where my understanding comes in as a team player.
Yeah.
It's the boy's birthday. I'm like, yo, A-Reece, my nigga, here's a gift.
Oh, that's
right?
fire.
I paid for 2 music videos ahead. You can take one, because you're the bigger artist now. And then from there on, once you got the crazy motion, the whole crew will have crazy motion because you would have already had this hype, and you can bring the hype down to the boys.
Yeah.
So I give him the one music video, Kyle White music video, and then I gave Flame the other one.
If true, it was a decision that put the collective ahead of the individual and helped elevate TWC's credibility at a crucial stage of its growth. What's interesting is that the timeline seems to support the idea that the connection began through X. The first collaboration between A-Reece and Kyle White was on So What, which was an X Global record featuring Zoocci Coke Dope. So when X says he helped house and financially support members of the Wrecking Crew, it's not a claim that appears out of thin air. Whether he should still be holding on to that years later though is a separate discussion. But the idea that he played a significant role behind the scenes is supported by far more than his own tweets. It's pretty clear that X Global still carries a lot of resentment towards A-Reece. And when you step back and look at it from his perspective, you can at least understand where some of that resentment might come from. Before TWC, X wasn't just some random guy looking for a handout. He had already appeared on television, he already had industry contacts, money from Big Brother, and relationships with people like Zoocci Coke Dope. He wasn't starting from zero. Imagine if he simply paid for the benchmark feature, got the A-Reece verse, released So What, used the Kyle White music videos for himself, and then carried on building his own career independently with the resources he already had and the buzz those collaborations would have generated. There's a reasonable argument that he could have established himself as a respected artist in South African hip-hop without ever getting caught up in the internal politics of the Wrecking Crew. As I said earlier though, I don't think X Global has done himself many favors either. As much as I understand where his frustration comes from, there's only so long you can keep fighting yesterday's battles before they start overshadowing what you're doing today. While artists like Mash Beats, Flame, and Words picked themselves up after TWC, doubled down on their craft, and rebuilt their brands, X has largely become known for his tweets about A-Reece rather than his own music. Every time he trends, it's usually because of another rant instead of a new release. That's unfortunate because I genuinely think he has much more to offer the industry than people give him credit for. Ironically, I don't even think his greatest strength is being a rapper. Looking back at the history of TWC, X repeatedly found himself solving problems that had nothing to do with music. He was finding places for the crew to stay, making industry connections, organizing logistics, and generally keeping the operation moving when everything else was falling apart. Those aren't qualities of just an artist, they're qualities of someone who understands how to build and manage people. Now, I can already hear some people coming at me like, how can he manage another artist when his own career never reached the level it should have? But I'd argue that's exactly what could make him a good manager. Some of the best coaches weren't the greatest players, some of the best managers weren't the biggest stars. X knows what it's like to sacrifice for a collective, to navigate bad management, to deal with murky royalty disputes, and to watch a promising movement fall apart from the inside. Those experiences are valuable. They give him a perspective that can't be learned from a textbook. Maybe the biggest contribution X Global makes to South African hip-hop won't be through another album. Maybe it will be by helping another artist avoid the very mistakes that derailed his own journey. In fact, I can actually see him becoming another noter, quite honestly. A-Reece, on the other hand, was always destined for greatness. He just walked away from ambitious entertainment with one of the most loyal fan bases in South African hip-hop, and from a purely musical standpoint, he was operating on a different level. It was almost inevitable that he'd become a star, whether the Wrecking Crew existed or not. There's a valid argument to be made that if it wasn't for Reece, we probably would not have heard about the other guys. And that's not to diminish what the rest of the crew brought to the table. Every member had a role to play, but if you're being honest, A-Reece was always the center of gravity. One thing that makes this entire story so difficult to unpack is that we only really have one side that's willing to keep talking about it. A-Reece has spent years cultivating a sort of anti-industry persona. He rarely does interviews, almost never appears on podcasts, and generally lets the music do the talking. Whether that's intentional or simply how he prefers to move, it means he seldom addresses allegations publicly. As a result, people like X Global have been far more vocal, naturally end up shaping much of the public conversation. That doesn't automatically make X's version of the events true, but it does mean A-Reece's silence leaves a vacuum, and in any vacuum, people will fill the gaps themselves. Maybe that's why X Global has become so polarizing. Fans tend to view it as an either-or situation. Either A-Reece carried everybody or everybody carried A-Reece, when in reality, the truth, like everything in general, probably sits somewhere in the middle. Reece was the engine that drove the music forward, while people like X Global helped create the environment that allowed that engine to keep running. And both can be true at the same time. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed more of these opinion pieces, do leave a like and do subscribe so that I can keep pumping out more videos like these. And until the next time, this is the Trap House, signing out.